What's up and welcome back to Rumor Has It Official. Let's get straight into talking about 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days. This is season 4, episode 15, the last episode for season 4. And the title of this episode is The Never Ending Story. Let's start off with Geoffrey, Varriya, and Mary. So they start the episode picking right back off where we left off with Geoffrey, Varriya, and Mary. Geoffrey says that he hasn't talked to Mary after she left his home when Varriya showed up on his doorstep. To say this woman is his friend is a complete lie. He could care less about her because he didn't even have the decency to call her and apologize. He cares nothing about Mary's feelings, nor does he respect her. I feel as though since he did pursue her, he owed her an apology because he didn't handle that situation correctly. But then again, we are talking about Geoffrey here. During Varriya's one-on-one time with the camera crew, she says that this American, referring to Mary, something is wrong with her. I think Varriya is wrong for that because Mary put her feelings out there, but it was Geoffrey who decided to play on Mary's emotions and pursue something with her. Had he come back home and just focused on himself and not hopped into another relationship, they all wouldn't be in this situation. I think Varriya is misplacing her feelings and anger and projecting them onto Mary. Mary says Geoffrey told her that he wanted to pursue things with her, so she thought that they were done. Geoffrey pulls Mary to the side and tells her that Varriya was in the wrong and that he didn't know she was coming. Mary gets emotional and says, how is she supposed to feel about this? Geoffrey just sits there again, saying nothing and watching as his close friend, or he calls her his best friend, is crying. The one he claims is always there for him. Yeah, he's just watching her cry. Geoffrey's silence is really her answer and tells her where his heart lies and that she was just a backup plan. He settled for Mary because he thought he couldn't have Varriya fully in the way that he wanted to. Geoffrey's only response to Mary is that he doesn't want to lose her friendship. So he puts her back into the friend zone, basically. So once Geoffrey and Mary go back to join their group of friends, Mary and Varriya begin to have this stare down. And Varriya says, can she talk to Mary for a minute? So these two step away and Varriya tells her friends, don't worry, she'll be safe. And Mary's like, it's not my safety I'm worried about. These two are bugging and obviously see each other as a threat. Once they begin to talk, Mary is like, why are you here when you turned down his proposal? And Varriya warns her not to speak to her that way. To Varriya's defense, it's none of Mary's business why she's there. And second, if things were to end between you and someone you're dating, who would think that within 3 weeks, like a 3-week time span, if you decided to rekindle or reach back out to them, that they would have moved on so quickly? Like, who would think that? People break up and get back together all the time. So I feel like Mary is foolish in that sense to feel like just because somebody turned down a proposal and maybe broke off doesn't mean that they can't later, after some time has kind of gone by and they've thought about things, they can't try to come back together and make things work. Mary is foolish because she was so desperate to have this man that she's been wanting for so long. At the first sight and first taste of attention that she got from him, she was all in. But she should have took her time to see if he had genuine and for sure intentions on being with her and was truly over Varriya. I think honestly, Mary just didn't care that she was second pick. So Varriya, during this talk with Mary, tells her to stay away from Geoffrey and that he doesn't love her. Mary quickly says, you're wrong. So I wonder if Geoffrey had been telling Mary that he loved her and if they had been intimate. That's something else to think about. Mary tells Varriya that she's been a constant in Geoffrey's life and that Varriya doesn't know him like she does. Mary says the fact that she doesn't know what Geoffrey wants breaks her heart. I think his silence is telling her exactly what and who he wants. I don't understand why she isn't getting that. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Let's move on to Lisa and Usman. So Lisa's back in the room and says that she's tired of him always talking about control this, control that. And she says it has nothing to do with that. For her, it's about respect. Usman says that he's embarrassed at Lisa's actions and he is unsure if she's worth it. He leaves his brothers and goes to the room to talk to Lisa. Lisa apologizes and tells him that she just believes they're both stressed out and that it's been really hot. Is this woman kidding me right now? Did she just blame her actions on the weather? Wow. Lisa tells Usman that she's not marrying him because he's a celebrity in Nigeria, but because she loves him. I was rolling when she said that because didn't she just tell him that he was local talent when they got into that heated exchange? Lisa has said that she's done so many times I've lost count and has changed her mind about walking away from Usman. Usman tells her that he's never denied her love and that he still wants to marry her. Usman begs Lisa to believe him and trust him. Lisa says it's a new beginning for them that's only going to grow bigger and better. Does she even believe what she's saying? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Let's move on to David. So David has been in Ukraine for 8 days so far and has only seen Lana for 2 out of the 8 days that he's been there. Lana has expressed to him that she is still uncomfortable with meeting him at the hotel. He also mentions that he is ready to get off the website that he met her on because he's been paying just to communicate with her. While in his hotel room, David pulls out an engagement ring and says the time is winding up and he just needs to know that Lana is on the same page as he is. His plans are to return home an engaged man. Later that night, Lana says that she can meet him at a cafe. As soon as she walks in, he hugs her, making those sick noises, calling her baby. All while Lana stands there all stiff and has the same facial expression of a robot. Lana claims she came there to meet David because she feels a romantic connection with him, and she's a liar. When she says things about David to the camera crew, she has more of a smile on her face than she does when David is actually in her presence. She's playing this man like a fiddle and giving him just enough to keep him satisfied. David is one of her many men from the websites that she likes to use. So David tells Lana that he would like to leave the website, right? And Lana tells him through Google Translator app that she agrees and also would like to leave the website. She's telling David everything that he wants to hear and he's milking it like a cow. He goes on to tell Lana that he's in love with her. And there was this awkward, long and drawn out silence that took place after he said that. He's smiling from ear to ear and she's looking at him with not one bit of emotion or expression to the face that would suggest that she's happy or has love for him as well. She looks more like she's annoyed and pissed. Really, that's how her face looks. David then presents to Lana a brand new iPhone, to which I thought in that moment that he was going to propose. He tells her this is loaded with everything that they'll need to communicate with one another at any time of the day. Lana seems very closed off and like she has a lot on her mind or something. I think she knows she's wrong and doesn't share the same feelings for David, but doesn't know how to get herself out of this. So David picks up on her disposition. So he questions her on what the problem is. Instead of being truthful, she says, if it helps us to better communicate without the website, then she can accept the phone. Lana and David end their evening going for a walk. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Ed. So Ed is now back in San Diego and says he's sad things didn't work out with Rose, but he feels that he had to go through the process and try to learn as much as he could about Rose. Now, since things failed with Rose, he's ready to mend things with his daughter. He reached out to his daughter, Tiffany, and she agreed to meet him. Ed says that his daughter is the most important person in his life. But if that was really the case, I feel like he wouldn't have boarded that flight to the Philippines, knowing that it would destroy his relationship with his daughter. So when Ed pulls up to his mom's house to pick his daughter up, I didn't like the fact that he honked the horn for her to come out instead of going up to the door to get her. You know, he's got flowers in hand and greets his daughter with a hey and a hug. And I guess to be fair, he did open the car door for her though. So, okay, he redeemed himself with that. His daughter says when she heard about Rose, she freaked out and they had a huge argument on the phone. She says that she was so hurt that he wouldn't listen to her, that she seized all contact with him and is unsure how to move forward at this moment with her father. So Ed tells his daughter that she was right and everything blew up in his face, but he had to do it and follow through. His daughter says that she was upset because he was old enough to be that girl's dad. And what did he really have in common with the 23-year-old? She adds that it was hard because Ed was blowing her off and not taking her thoughts into consideration. Ed tells her that he's sorry and that she has and will always be the love of his life. Ed and his daughter hug it out. And when Ed goes to put his arm around his daughter's neck, I cringed. All that weight he was putting on her neck. She's short too, but I think a couple of inches taller than him. She's got to be. Did y'all notice that too? Like when he went and like put his arm around her neck, it like broke her down because I feel like she's a little bit taller than him. And so it was just kind of weird. Like, dang, he gonna mess her neck up. Moving on, Ed says that he just wanted to be happy and have what every other couple has: intimacy and love. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts with Ed and his daughter. Let's move on to Geoffrey and Varriya. So it's the next day and these two wake up in the same bed. Okay. Geoffrey says that he was disappointed by the way things ended at the bar. He said due to Mary and Varriya getting upset, he just wanted to get out of there. He says that he knows it looks bad, but he's not sure where things are going to go. He's not sure where things are going. Varriya tells Geoffrey that she doesn't want Mary around him, calling him her man. Geoffrey claims now all of a sudden he wants to take things slow. Oh, that's a first. These two in the next scene are holding hands and popping bottles of champagne. And Geoffrey and Varriya discuss the same stuff over and over, basically. Geoffrey plays victim and says Varriya hurt him so bad, to which Varriya tells him he opened up to her about his past very slowly because he knew that if she had known up front, that she wouldn't like it. Geoffrey didn't have anything to say when she said that. She goes on to say, since Geoffrey left Russia, she's realized that she made a mistake and that if she could go back, she would say yes to his proposal. Geoffrey says that he's happy to hear her say that, but part of him just wonders, does she realize how bad she hurt him? Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Stephanie. So she is back in New York and still hasn't talked to Erica. She still hasn't talked to her mom as well about the details, but feels now is the time for her to come out to her mom and tell her mom what really happened between her and Erica. So Stephanie heads over to her mom's and has a sit down with her mom and her brother. Her mom mentions that when she picked her up at the airport, she could tell something was wrong, something was off, and that Stephanie wasn't 100% herself that day. Stephanie tells her mom that her relationship with Erica took a romantic turn, and the whole time her mom is shaking her head no. Her mom tells her that she believes her daughter is confused because she's been hurt and she's been in a lot of toxic relationships. Yeah, that's what she said. I think this woman knows her daughter very well. They're very close. And still, I stand behind my belief that Stephanie is faking this whole storyline. Let's move on to David and Lana. So the private investigator that David hired to find Lana, y'all remember him? Well, David claims that he sent him over links and sites that he believes Lana is on and still currently using. Now, this didn't make sense to me because you mean to tell me after David was rude to this man for doing a job he hired him to do, after David fired him, why on earth would he go out of his way to send over more info to David? Either David is lying or David rehired him to look into things one last time. David has been complaining about Lana not showing him the affection that he needs. So maybe her being closed off prompted him to rehire the PI to see if, she's hiding anything. Now, that to me is a little bit more believable than him just randomly wanting to be nice and sending you over information after you have fired him. Even with this new information right in front of him, David says that the links aren't real. He writes the PI back telling him to add this info to his case file. Now, if you didn't believe anything this man tells you, you don't believe anything he says, then why are you telling him to add it to your case file? I refuse to believe that David is that dumb to think that Lana really shares genuine interest in him as he does for her. So the next day, we see David walking the streets of Ukraine with that doggone hefty trash bag of a coat on. And he done added some more hideous attire. A raccoon is sitting right on top of his head. This dude is such a flippin' joke. Like, somebody needed to help him with his fashion because this just ain't working out. So he's walking the streets looking pathetic because Lana is busy yet again, and he'll be leaving the next day. He says the whole trip, it's just been him in the bed. He says that Lana has been very wishy-washy. Now, Lana promises to see him off for his flight, and David seems to think that that's a big step in their relationship because to him, this means that she wants to see him off and say goodbye. Yeah, David. She does want to see you off and make sure you leave Ukraine for good. Yeah, you got that right. So I was rolling when David went to call Lana thinking now that he gave her that phone that he could hit her up anytime. But when he called her, that phone rang and then went to voicemail. I think that David doesn't realize that this is just a preview of what will happen every time he calls her when he gets back to Vegas. I think that this is just a preview. David says that it was worth it to go on this trip to meet Lana, but adds that he doesn't actually have his girl yet until he puts a ring on her finger. He goes on to say during the 7 years of them talking, he's always questioned if Lana was attracted to him because she doesn't show it. He says that she's been very hot and cold with him. Yeah, you think? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Let's move on to Geoffrey and Varriya. So Geoffrey says after spending a few days with Varriya, it's making him think how things are going to be between them. In this scene, Varriya, she gets to meet Geoffrey's sons. Varriya is embarrassed because Paxton was at the house when she arrived and witnessed her getting into it with Mary. She's hoping that he will give her another chance because she already made her first impression. So she's hoping this second impression that she can win him over. When they interview Geoffrey's sons, one says that he thinks Varriya showing up was a bold move and that it shows that she wants to be a part. As he's saying that, the oldest son, Paxton, has this look on his face. Geoffrey wants to know from his sons, what do they think of Varriya? And to me, he could have discussed that with them privately. But he pushes that question on them. So the youngest is like, I'm confused. If Mary was there, did you just say, okay, bye, Mary? How did that work? Do you still talk to her? And Geoffrey says, I'm hopeful that Mary will come around as a friend still. And then he looks at Varriya. Varriya says, not with me. And he goes on to say, maybe in time. His sons tell the camera crew that their dad has been smiling a lot more. Later that night, Geoffrey takes Mary on a cruise that takes them around the Tennessee River. He says that they are having a good time and he's opening up to Varriya. Over dinner, Varriya tells him that she doesn't like how slow he's moving and that he moved faster in Russia. She says that she can now look in the future and see her life with him. Geoffrey tells Varriya that he loves her and never stopped, even though he tried to cover it up with another woman. So that would suggest and that would confirm that Mary was a rebound. Mary got on her live. I don't know if any of you've seen it. Mary got on her live and said that she wasn't a rebound. She made it a point to keep I am not a rebound. I've known him half a decade. This is what she says. She says that she wasn't a rebound, but it sounds like you were, honey. If Geoffrey just admitted to using her as a cover-up. Varriya tells him that she's waiting on the next step and feels that it should be from Geoffrey. She is making it clear that she wants him to propose again, basically. Comment down below and let's move on to Yolanda. So Yolanda's daughter found out that her mom has still been in contact with the scammer. At this point, it's really is it really necessary to address a fake person as Williams when we all know that she's not talking to the stock photos dude? No way. There's no way. Her daughter decided to hire a PI since her mom is in serious denial of the truth. These scenes had to be filmed. I've noticed they had to be filmed with their phones because the quality was boo-boo and hecka foggy. And I'm like, maybe they going during, this was during quarantine, the beginning stages or something. Now, I was weak when Yolanda told the PI certain info and how he would look up as though he was rolling his eyes it's obvious, girl, that you being scammed and catfished and played. Once the PI starts to tell Yolanda and her daughter the services his firm can provide, Yolanda has this look on her face as though this man is shady or something, but she's the one who is foolish. She's spending money on a PI or allowing her daughter to spend money on a PI when she already has all of the evidence that shows that this man Williams isn't real. That's not even a real first name, for crying out loud. Come on. You got to be kidding me to sit up there and think somebody's first name is really Williams. Comment down below. Do you know anybody's first name that's Williams? That's a last name. I know that to be a last name. The PI tells her that he believes that she's been a victim of a catfishing scam. And Yolanda just sits there with her shoulder out, squinting her eyes like she can't comprehend what this man is telling her. She later says hopefully the PI will come back with info stating Williams is really real. I'm just so sick. I'm so sick. I'm so sick and I'm so sick. And when I'm sick, I'm tired, and we moving on. Let's move on to Lisa and Usman. So, y'all, in this scene, I was rolling when Lisa told Usman to wake up and whispered in his face. And she had whispered in his face that they were getting married. Usman's face looked like, dang, girl, your breath is stinking. It's on fire. That's how he the way he jerked his neck back, oh my God, because she's yelling all up in his face he just woke up. It was just too much. So Usman gets up and gets dressed for their wedding. And he says, even though his brothers aren't happy with Lisa, he is happy in the moment. So he's happy in that moment. Adding, he is just imagining how his life is going to be in America. Now, she's given him a preview of what his life is going to be like in America. He's already received that. The same way that she's been acting in Nigeria is how she will do in America. If not the same, worse. So get ready. Lisa then gets dressed looking like a marshmallow on the bottom and a wet mop head at the top. The dress was beautiful, though. I love the fabric. I just don't think that it looked good on Lisa, to be honest. I'm just being real. Usman is hoping that once they arrive, that his family doesn't try to stop the wedding because he says that it's not too late for them to change their minds. Even though his family is there, you can tell that they wish that they weren't. It's hecka dry and quiet in the building. So Usman's mom and brothers are looking up to the sky with no smiles on their faces. And I'm truly surprised that they didn't stop the wedding. After the way that Lisa showed her tail, banging on tables, yelling, and doing all of that, I'm really surprised no one stood up. So Usman's mother says she's expecting Lisa to deliver 2 kids in 3 years. Now, she knows doggone well Lisa can't even fulfill her expectation. So at the reception, Lisa is sitting at the table while Usman dances with his friends. The bride and the groom aren't allowed to dance together. This is what Lisa says. So Lisa is at the table, basically babysitting. And she says, unfortunately, Usman's mother and brother weren't feeling good, so they couldn't make the reception. And we all know that that was a lie and that they didn't want to go. So they made up that story that they were sick, but they did not want to be there. Usman's friends say, honestly, they were thinking that Lisa is too old and fat, but they think that they will be a lovely family if they both have patience to overlook some things. Lisa says that she feels that she's living a Cinderella story. Y'all, she think that story is a Cinderella story? Okay, that shows just how off she is. Comment down below your thoughts. Let's move on to Geoffrey and Varriya. So it's Varriya's last day in Knoxville, and Geoffrey says this time with her has rekindled his feelings. Varriya says without a proposal, she doesn't see how this relationship will work. Geoffrey uses this opportunity to propose again, and Varriya says yes. It's the next day. I'm speeding through because this is very long. I mean, this is the whole 2 hours I'm giving y'all. So it's the next day and Varriya is headed to the airport. She and Geoffrey say their goodbyes. They both decide that they're going to apply for the K-1 visa. Geoffrey says that he knows in the end they're going to be together. Let's move on to Darcey. So Darcey and Stacey head to get their nails done. And on the car ride over, Darcey tries to sell us more lies by saying that Tom tried to reach out to her. She says that she didn't recognize the number, but the guy that reached out supposedly was a friend of Tom and wanted to reach out to try to bridge the gap between them. Darcey says that she didn't respond and says she'll find someone else. Now, what takes the cake is when Darcey goes as far as to say when she didn't respond to his friend, she then got a similar message from Tom's mom. Does this woman really expect us to believe this mess? Darcey has nothing to go off of. And had we not seen Tom skip his way to go and be with another woman after leaving New York, I might have believed her. But since we saw this man call another woman and tell her that he's coming to spend time with her, we know Darcey is full of crap. Stacey plays along and tells Darcey that she's really proud of her strength and for knowing when to move on. Darcey tells the camera crew that it's hard because Stacey is probably going to get married, all while huffing and puffing like a kid who is told that they can't have candy before dinner. So Stacey and Darcey are getting their nails done, and Stacey says that her fiance Florian's K-1 visa interview is coming up soon. Darcey tells Stacey that she deserves happiness, but by the look on her face, I can't say that I believe her. Darcey then says to her sister that she doesn't know what she's doing wrong, but she's definitely not giving up on love, and she's going to keep her heart open. She then goes on to say maybe she should date older guys. Maybe she should. Maybe she does need an older man because she keeps going for these young boys and that's not working out for her. She does really need to just do some self-work and be by herself for a bit. Then she might be ready to receive love from maybe someone her age or older. Yeah. Let's move on to Lisa and Usman. So it's time for baby girl Lisa to go home. She's crying and saying her heart hurts. And Usman tells the cameras that he's going to miss everything about Lisa. And he's a straight up lie. That man is jumping for joy on the inside that Lisa is going back home and he could be free to do as he pleases again without the constant yelling, nagging, and control that Lisa brings to the relationship. I was laughing my butt off when Usman was walking Lisa to the car singing his song he wrote for her like a lullaby, like she a baby or something. Lisa says Usman is her destiny and the one she'll spend the rest of her life with. But with the distance between them, she worries if he will be faithful to her. Let's move on to David and Lana. So it's time for David to leave Ukraine, and downstairs waiting for him is Lana. David is rubbing all on her back when he sees her and making those nasty tail noises that he loves to make. And Lana tries to kind of break from that. It's like, are you ready? So they both walk over to their rental car. And it was really funny to me to hear Lana say that her and David have become closer when they only saw each other for 2 days out of the 8 days he was there. So how did you become that close in just 2 days? It's like she makes things up as she goes along every time she talks to the cameras. Are y'all closer because he gifted you a brand new iPhone? That may have something to do with it. Also, is it the fact that he plans to apply for a visa in the future and coming to America is your dream? That might have something to do with it. Now, on the way to the airport, David tells Lana that he is sad to be leaving, and Lana says it's sad for her too, but she's sure that they'll be able to meet again soon. David says Lana means the world to him, and saying goodbye is going to be almost impossible. David slips in a couple of kisses from Lana that I could tell that she wasn't expecting. Lana looks mad uncomfortable and pissed when David walks off because she couldn't do anything in that situation but let him kiss her. She knows she's on camera and she's trying to get that visa approved. So she knows she got to basically do whatever she can to get what she wants. David walks off all dramatic and then turns around rushing towards Lana saying that he doesn't want to go yet. Lana starts laughing and hugging him, making sure to turn her face off to the side so that he can't kiss her. David then tells Lana that he loves her and gets down on one knee and says, "Will you marry me?" Lana accepts his proposal. She says that she's very happy he proposed because they can now start the visa process and be together in Vegas. David is smiling from ear to ear saying that he has his other half now. Now, how did you all think about the way that season 4 ended, and are you ready for this tell-all? This was 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days, season 4, episode 15. Again, the title of this episode was The Never Ending Story. Comment down below your thoughts on all of these couples in this episode. Let me know how much you like this video by giving it a big thumbs up for me and sharing it with a friend who also loves watching 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified on all future uploads from me. And I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.